Okay, so now we're going to lay our rainbow in, okay? And I have put some colors here. Now we do have still our colors over here, which I'm going to keep nearby, okay, for parts of it. But I've added a red and a yellow, and I thought about putting orange in. We'll just have to see if we can manage it. But normally you could do with just 3 colors, maybe 4, okay? You can do red and yellow and blue, and then you add purple at the end, okay? But this red is very orangey. I wish I could make it a little bit more true red, a little deeper, but this is what my red looks like. So I'm gonna I thought maybe we might be able to blend it with a flat brush and then just do a stripe. It is a little bit tricksy. So I'm gonna use this medium brush and we're gonna make a red section on the edge. This rainbow is a little small. If we didn't have a finite area that we were working in, we could probably just use a flat brush. But I'm going to just go in and lay in this red. Red first, Roy G. Biv. And we're just going to do a thin line of red. Meeting our cloud. And I'm trying to be really neat, so I'm going a little slower. All right, now let's clean our brush really good. Clean it on our rag. And then let's pick up some yellow, just straight yellow. I may end up having to put more on my brush. But the yellow is really why we put the white down, because it a lot of times doesn't have the kaboom by itself to go over a blue. And I'm going to paint them next to each other for right now, okay? So just trust me on this. We will paint the yellow next to the red, and I am already seeing that I probably should have put a little bit more yellow on my palette. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of this medium yellow to my paper plate palette today. And then finish this around the edge, right next to the red. Now, I dried it with a heat gun, and so I got some nerdlies bubbling up there. It was kind of thick there, and so I hit it kind of hard with the air gun, and I got some bubbles. Okay, now we're going to let that just go for just a second. Clean your brush out really good and dry it on your rag like this. Okay? The next thing that we're going to do is, I think we're going to take a small, I don't know if this flat brush will do what I want it to or not, but I'm going to take this small flat brush. It's kind of like 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to blend between the two, like this, with small strokes. And what we are going to do is actually create that transition from red to orange. Now we may end up adding a little extra yellow where we have mixed over too much. Like this side, it looks like it needs a little bit more yellow. Okay, so we're going to mix that together. We're going to try to leave some of the yellow at the edge. Now over here, it kind of got lost. So I'm going to go in with my round brush tip again, and I'm going to just give it the yellow it needs. We need it to have a good amount of yellow, but we didn't want to over mix, because that's also going to be our green, going to mix with our blue to make green. So we want to go ahead and make sure we have a good amount of yellow that is not mixed into orange. Okay? And then we're going to go in with blue. Rinse your brush. We're going to go with our blue, and we're going to kind of touch the edge of that yellow with our blue. And that will make a sort of green color. So part of it will be blue, and part of it will be green. And we are going to scrub this a little, okay? Because we're going to have to get that yellow mixed in with that blue to make the green that we want. It's a little bit dark. So let's get our little tiny flat brush and do our magic right here. We're going to kind of blend. I'm going to go sideways for a minute here and get a little scrub in. And I actually feel like that green is too dark because my blue is dark. So I might actually add in some of our old green to lighten that up a bit. Just a little bit from our first section palette over here. Because I don't want it to be so dark that it doesn't read on the canvas. And then we're going to fan it a little bit into the yellow, okay? So we're going to kind of do a little bit of a rub up like this. I'm going to clean my brush again because I want to get all that extra paint out, and then do a little bit of a dry brush scrub. Don't get rid of all the yellow. We still want the yellow to show, but we want the transition. Okay, and as we did before, let's clean our brush again. Just got to keep cleaning it to keep it clean because it gets messy. And we're going to soften. Just a slightly damp brush. We're going to soften that edge. Okay, looks good. You can come back with some yellow if you want and neaten up this area here. Kind of going over it with the yellow to soften that line, just to make it look like it's fading from one thing to another. Clean your brush often. Beautiful. Okay, now let's get our round brush again, medium round brush. And we're going to lay in more blue because we used that blue to create our green. So now we're going to come in here with our blue. We're going to kind of take back over some of that green. And we may end up widening our rainbow a little. This blue's a little bit dark, but I do kind of like the intensity of it. And then we'll add in our purple. Excuse me. And believe it or not, we are almost done. We have one more color, which is our purple, and then we're finished. Crazy, isn't it? Unless you want to touch up your grass or anything, then, you know, that's up to you. All right. Purple, let's do it. Right next to this blue. And just because our rainbow is changing a little bit, I'm probably not going to blend it too much. I don't want it to be much bigger than what it already is. And I'm already making some wiggly marks there, aren't I? A little crazy there. It happens to the best of us. Now I'm going to have to fix that blue because I messed it up. So we'll take our little tiny, our little miniature 1/4 inch flat brush and put some blue on it. Okay. And then come in here and do some blendies all around. But I'm going to widen this up because I really messed that up. But it blends really nice. And the only other thing I want to do is neaten up my purple. Okay? That's just my personal preference. I am trying to make this painting a little bit neater, more of a flat application than Painterly one. But if you're into the texture and the movement, then by all means, make it bumpy and wiggly if you want to. Normally I'm a bumpy, wiggly person, but I'm trying to deepen my skills a little bit, make myself be a little bit neater. Okay, so I see this little line here of messy there. So I'm going to get some of that old green that we got and clean that up to make myself happy. You do not have to do this if you do not want to. As I said, I'm just a little picky. Mary can attest. We're going to go in with some really barely green color. And I am going to try to make sure I have a little white in there for coverage. And then I'm just going to hit this top line right there, just to neaten that edge out. And over here, I'm going to come in a little bit. We have quite a bit of mess on this side of my canvas. As you can see, the colors don't quite, ooh, that's really light. Gotta mix the right color, Miss Abby. See how light that is? I might be driving myself crazy by doing that, but I'm doing it. I'm gonna have to fix it now, but I'm gonna do it. Alright, I'm gonna take that little tiny flat brush that I was using, make sure it's really clean, and then I'm gonna blend this in a little. And I'll probably go back and put some greens on top just to camouflage it, because I had to fix that. It was really messy. Leave it up to me to make it more difficult than it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to go back to my round brush because that one's not making the marks I want. I'm just sort of blending that in a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with my darker color and just get a few of these in there. So I have to correct that transition now. All right. We are done. Now, we are finished with our rainbow image. You can sign your name. I don't usually sign my name, but you can sign your name down here or in the grass. I hope you've enjoyed this really fun rainbow tutorial. Have a great day, everybody.